It's the story time. Now what's the title? Well, the title is Julius Caesar, playwright William Shakespeare, written around 1599 to 1600, setting ancient Rome around 44 BCE, genre tragedy, plot the play explores the conspiracy against Julius Caesar, his assassination, and the power struggle that follows. Main theme: fate versus free will. Characters: Julius Caesar, his wife Calpurnia, Mark Antony, his wife Portia, Decius Brutus, Marcus Brutus, Octavius, Cassius, Trebonius, Casth, Cinna, Metellus Cimber, Publius Cimber, and various other minor characters. Julius Caesar is an able and brave general of Rome. He had fought many battles and won. Now he has returned after defeating the sons of Pompey. But on the other side, there are his adversaries also who are jealous of Caesar and his reputation. They don't want that Caesar should be a dictator of Rome. Now they plot a conspiracy against Julius Caesar to murder him, headed by Cassius. And Cassius is so clever that he wanted Brutus to be involved in this conspiracy because, of course, Brutus was very close to Caesar, and it would be easy for him to conspire against Caesar if some person who is in trust of people of Rome as well as Julius Caesar would himself be involved in the conspiracy. So everyone, including Caesar, would believe of him. So it was very important for Cassius to include and involve Brutus along with them in the conspiracy. And at last we see that Julius Caesar is murdered at the foot of Pompey's statue. So that was very ironical here in the play. Now the opening scene of the play is in Caesar's house, and outside there is so much thunder and lightning. Okay, so Caesar had a very disturbed sleep last night. Why? Because his wife was shouting in her dreams. And so Caesar was totally disturbed by her shouting. Now she had bad dreams, like a lioness giving birth to her cubs on the street. The graves are all open and the dead are coming out and roaming in the street. The warriors are fighting the battles up in the sky. And there are all over blood in the Capitol. And there is a statue of Julius Caesar himself, in which there are so many pores in his body, and from all the pores blood is coming out. And all the people are soaking their hand and handkerchiefs in that blood. So these all things were very unusual for her, and she was so much terrified that no, something bad is going to happen to her husband today. So she was again and again pleading Julius Caesar, please don't go out of home today. But Julius Caesar, of course, he was very brave general, so he was not ready to listen to his wife, because due to some bad dream, he was not able to go out. So that was totally unacceptable for him, because according to him, he was so brave that nothing could come in his path. If he had to do something for his country or people, nothing can stop him. But again and again, his wife Calpurnia was pleading and asking him to stay at home only. But again, Julius Caesar is not ready to listen to his wife. He just says whatever is to happen, that would happen. But again and again, Calpurnia says, no, it is not something usual. It is something unusual that she has seen in her bad dreams. Okay, now something is going to happen that would be very bad. Something is like bad omen or predictions. And she never believed in those things. But this time it is unusual. Calpurnia says, when common people go, nothing happens. But you are a brave man. Okay, you are not an ordinary man. So whatever I have seen in my dreams, that were all very unusual. So that is kind of a bad omen or signal that I have got, and please, I am pleading you not to go out, because you are not a monk, or you are not a common person, common man. And Julius Caesar is so much unafraid of anything or of death that he was not ready to listen to Calpurnia or to stay at home. But in the meantime, a servant comes who brings news, and that was something unusual. He says that the priest has given the offering to God in which he sacrificed an animal. The animal had no heart. So that was something unusual, an animal without a heart. In the meantime, Decius Brutus enters, and he is there to take Julius Caesar to the Senate. But when Julius Caesar tells him no, that he is not going today to the Senate because of some bad dreams of his wife Calpurnia, so Decius Brutus was totally surprised, because they all people had plotted against Julius Caesar to take him to the Senate and to murder him over there. Now what about their plan? So Caesar tells Decius Brutus here that Calpurnia has seen in her dream that there is a statue of Julius Caesar which has a number of openings, and from all the openings blood is coming out, and the people are soaking their hands and handkerchiefs in that blood. So she is so much terrified, and she is not letting me to go out of home today. Well, Decius Brutus is totally surprised that what he would do today, because he is asked to take Julius Caesar to the Senate so that the people can go according to their plan to murder Caesar. Now Decius Brutus tells Julius Caesar that take this bad dream as a positive one. This is not at all a bad dream. This is a positive dream. Why? Because he is an example of bravery for the people of Rome. That's why they are soaking their hands and their handkerchiefs in his blood. So take this as a positive one, not a negative one or as a bad omen. Now this all pleases Caesar so much that he agrees to go along with Decius Brutus to the Senate. Now all the conspirators get together, they taste wine together and leave. Now when Julius Caesar reaches the Senate, there was already a foolproof plan of the senators. Now suddenly Metellus Cimber appears in front of Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar had banished Cimber's brother Publius Cimber, and Metellus Cimber now is in front of Julius Caesar just asking or pleading for his brother. Now Julius Caesar says no, he is like a northern star. Once an order or a verdict is given, he cannot change that law or the words. He just says laws are not made for the play of children. They can't be changed each time. Well, it set an example to the people of Rome that see, Julius Caesar is trying to become a dictator in Rome. He wants to rule all over Rome, and he is not giving freedom to the people of Rome. That's why it is very important to kill Julius Caesar. So as they planned, they did. Casca came forward, he stabbed Julius Caesar, and after him all the other conspirators came one by one and stabbed him. So accordingly, Calpurnia's dream came true. There were so many openings or holes in Julius Caesar's body, and from all over the openings, blood was coming out. Now after all the conspirators stabbed Julius Caesar, Brutus came. He too stabbed him. Now seeing his close friend stabbing him, Julius Caesar says, "Et tu, Brute." It means, "You too, Brutus." Julius Caesar was so much surprised that among all the conspirators, even his close friend Brutus was present and involved, and he has stabbed Julius Caesar at the last. So, due to shock, Julius Caesar had his last breath and he fell to death. Now, during this meantime, Trebonius took away Mark Antony away from the scene so that he could not interfere in the plan of murdering Julius Caesar. Now everyone, Cassius and Brutus, they were in front of the people of Rome and they were justifying their act of murdering Julius Caesar to the people. It is all for the sake of the people of Rome, their liberty and their freedom. As Julius Caesar was becoming over ambitious and wanted to become the dictator of Rome and wanted to rule all over us, so it was very important to kill him so that people can enjoy their freedom and liberty forever and there will be no dictatorship in Rome anytime. So they convinced people that whatever they have done, it was for the sake of them only, the people, it was for the sake of Rome only. Now when Antony enters, he is in a great shock to see his close friend Julius Caesar lying dead. He is full in tears, but he is not able to shed tears or show tears in front of his conspirators who have murdered Julius Caesar. So he says goodbye to Julius Caesar, but he swears in front of his body that he will take revenge of his death from all the conspirators and killers. For Antony, he also thinks that it's the right time to be dead or to die along with his friend Julius Caesar. He even asks the conspirators that from the same sword, he should also be killed along with his close friend Julius Caesar. But Brutus assures Mark Antony his safety. Even Cassius asks him to shake hands or to be involved with the conspirators. But as for Mark Antony, it was too early to shake hands with Julius Caesar's enemies or killers. So he asked Brutus to let him to speak at the funeral ceremony of Julius Caesar, but even Cassius is so much afraid that when Mark Antony will speak to the public or the people, he can make them in favor of him or Julius Caesar. So he is so much afraid and he doesn't want that Mark Antony should speak to the people. So he even asked Brutus not to let him to speak over there. But Brutus, what he says to Mark Antony, that first I will speak to the public or to the people, then I will let you to speak. And Brutus even asked Mark Antony not to speak a single word against us or the conspirators. So when Brutus leaves, Antony is left alone with the body of Julius Caesar. So here Mark Antony asks Julius Caesar's forgiveness that please forgive me, I am so soft with your killers, but for some reason I want to avenge for your killing or for your murder, so I have to be soft with your killers. But he swears in front of his body that I will take revenge of your murder from all the conspirators. So he says in front of his body that very soon there will be destruction all over in Rome and all the conspirators will have to give back for your murder. The goddess of revenge would herself come from hell to take revenge of Julius Caesar's murder. So when in the marketplace Brutus is giving speech and he justifies the act of murdering Julius Caesar to the people of Rome, he just says that he was becoming over ambitious and it was very much necessary to kill Julius Caesar as he was becoming a threat to the people of Rome. So he loved Rome more than Julius Caesar, so he had to kill Julius Caesar. So in a way he was justifying the act of himself and all the conspirators that they were very correct and right in killing Julius Caesar. He says that Caesar was becoming very powerful and ambitious and he would have made us all slaves in Rome. and he would have become a dictator all over us. So it was very much important to kill him. So everyone in Rome, the people, they were so convinced of the speech of Brutus, and they all started thinking and the thought that yes, whatever they have done or murdered Julius Caesar was all correct. Now Brutus says that okay, please allow Mark Antony also to speak in the funeral ceremony, and he also says that Mark Antony was not a part of Julius Caesar's murder. Now he takes permission from the people of Rome and allows Mark Antony to speak there. Now Brutus takes leave and Antony enters with Caesar's body. Now he is there in burial ceremony of Caesar, and he just waits and sees what people are discussing or saying. Then he starts speaking. He starts saying that the battles fought by Caesar made Rome richer. He cried whenever poor people cried. So how could he be over-ambitious? Antony keeps addressing Brutus and other men as honorable. Now he starts unfolding the truth in front of the people of Rome one by one. Mark Antony himself offered Julius Caesar the crown 3 times, but always he refused that. If he would have been over-ambitious, so how could he refuse the crown 3 times when I offered myself the crown to him? So he started asking the people of Rome that how could you think that he had done like this? So how could you think that he was over-ambitious? Now he asked the people of Rome that once upon a time you all loved Caesar so much. Now what's there right now that you are not mourning over his death? What's stopping you? Now the people start finding some sense in the words of Antony. Now more carefully they started listening to him. Now the opinions of people began to change. Then he says to the people, what I have found in the closet of Caesar, that is the will of Caesar. And when I will tell you that what's written in the will, you will come forward and you will not be able to forgive yourselves. Because then you will realize that who was Caesar actually. Now he wants people to wake up and just to know the truth behind Caesar and Caesar's death or murder. Antony tells them when they would come to know the truth, they would soak their handkerchiefs in the blood of Caesar, and then they would preserve those handkerchiefs for their future generations. They would keep a hair of Caesar as a token of his memory. Now all of them wanted to hear the will of Caesar. Now Antony tells the people that they are the inheritors of Caesar's will. Now after knowing this, the people filled with rage and anger. They started calling the conspirators and the killers as murderers, villains, traitors. So all of Julius Caesar's private gardens and orchards were now public property which they could recreate. After knowing about all the truth behind Julius Caesar, the mob was filled with mad anger and they wanted to take revenge of his killers. They wanted to burn them alive in their houses. Now Antony asked the people to form a ring around Caesar's body to have a close look. So they did so, and when he tells them to see the cloak, when they saw the cloak of Caesar's body, it was full of so many marks or holes. Antony tells the mob then when he would remove the cloak, then what would happen? If they are filled with so much anger on seeing the cloak, then when they would see the actual wounds of Caesar, then what they would do? Then he actually removes the cloak of Caesar, and the people actually got filled with rage and much more anger when they saw the wounds and so many marks and holes on Caesar's body. Now they wanted to take revenge of Caesar's death. This fulfills the intention of Mark Antony, who wanted to take the revenge of his friend Caesar's murder. On the cloak of Caesar, there were so many marks or holes made by the daggers of the conspirators who had killed Caesar. The worst mark was made by Brutus, who actually betrayed Caesar the most, as he was very close to Caesar, his closest friend. The mob wanted to burn the houses of the conspirators or the killers, but Antony also reminds them that, wait, you still don't know what's written in the will. Then he tells the people what's actually written in the will. In the will it was written, to each person of Rome, Julius Caesar has given 75 silver coins, and he has given his orchards and gardens for the entertainment of the people, for recreation. Now the work of Mark Antony was done. He actually set the mob to take revenge of Julius Caesar's murder and death, and they were all set to take the revenge. Later we find that Brutus and Cassius fall apart as their ideologies clashed. They are defeated by the armies of Octavius Caesar and Mark Antony, and later both Brutus and Cassius commit suicide. So that was the story of the play Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. I hope this will be helpful. For more interesting content, subscribe to my channel to get connected to me. And thanks a lot for watching all my videos. So I'll meet you people in the next video with a new topic. Till then, take care. Namaste.